It's nice to be back. I missed not having our class on Friday and had a lovely time on the backpack trip. For those of you who are interested, it was we went to a friend of mine and I went to Iron Creek, which is kind of near Snow Lake, which is the headwaters for the middle fork of the Gila River. So it was very remote and very peaceful and very therapeutic. So the healing power of nature.
Jeff, how did you get there?
Went to, so you go out 180 past Glenwood, and then you take a right turn going toward Muggio and Ghost Town.
Mhm.
You go past Muggio and Ghost Town, and that's called Bursum Road, where the pavement ends, and you just take it way back in there. It's
Okay, I was wondering if you went that way, or doesn't it go all the way through to uh somewhere does it meet
reserve.
15?
Yeah,
Oh, oh,
yeah, you can, although I've never done it, you can access that part of the national forest via reserve.
okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep, you bet. Um, you guys, why don't we settle in for some meditation? Please drop down into a comfortable meditation posture, and using whichever method you find most effective, please allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and rest, to become quiet and still. I'd like you now to please, please gently transition into your practice of central channel yoga. On your inhalation, please observe the sensation of air moving across the tips of your nostrils, and further observe energy winds moving fluidly and instantaneously down through the center of your body, down to a place in between your sit bones. On your exhalation, allow your winds to travel up effortlessly and fluidly to the crown of your head, and then down to a point in between your eyebrows. On the subsequent inhalation, back up to the crown of your head, and then down again to the lower tip of your central channel. And please repeat this pattern for a couple of moments. On your next inhalation, please allow your winds to travel down to the level of your navel, to your navel chakra. On the subsequent inhalation, up to the level of your throat chakra. Subsequent inhalation back down to the level of your navel. And repeat this pattern for a moment or two. Gently, very gently, allow your prana to travel a shorter distance along your central channel, gently and gradually moving in toward the center of your chest, the location of your heart chakra. Do this gently and easily. And finally, allow your winds and your awareness to come to rest at the center of your heart chakra, which of course is your seat for pure, unconditional, universal love and compassion, your true nature. No further doing is required of you. Nothing needs to be added. Just allow your awareness to rest at the center of your chest, at the center of your heart chakra, your seat of love and compassion, the true nature of who you are. From time to time, we may become confused about the true nature of who we really are, concocting all sorts of limiting beliefs about ourselves, thinking that we're not good enough, perhaps that we are apathetic, perhaps that we are angry people. These are just made up, inaccurate stories made up by our thinking mind. Please settle in and further acquaint yourself with who you truly are. Pure, unconditional love and compassion, the nature of which are a softness and a warmth. Very gently now, please resume your practice of central channel yoga, causing your winds to travel between your navel and your throat chakras, mounted upon the breath. Please allow your prana to travel the entire length of your central channel, mounted upon the breath. Please start to deepen your breath and allow your consciousness to become less absorbed. Become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your physical body, your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying, the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May we individually make the greatest contribution to world peace by deepening our experience of love and compassion, moving to a place of pure, unconditional, continuous, universal love and compassion. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back, everyone. So, to refresh our memories on sort of why we do this practice of central channel yoga, and ultimately, more specifically, moving our winds and our awareness to our heart chakra, the seat of our love and compassion. Why are we doing that? Again, please remind me. The reason is that I'm sure all of you have heard me say over these months and years that we cannot think our way into being happy. We can't think our way out of suffering. It has to come through experience. We have to, if you will, we have to feel our way, experience our way out of suffering and into happiness. And if you check carefully, it's that with every single state of mind that we want to either develop or to abandon. We can't think our way into loving more. We can only experience or feel our way into loving more. So that's why we go to, I mean, don't get me wrong, we have to think and use conceptual thought to understand techniques. It's through conceptual thought and cognition that we have to, or that we are able to understand the mechanics of this meditation. But in terms of experiencing the fruit, it only happens, the fruit of a deeper, more unconditional, pure love. It can only happen through experience, and it can only happen through feeling. And that means just going to this place, the center of our heart chakra, the seat of our love and compassion, and just becoming familiar with it. It really is that simple. It's called the force of familiarity. The more familiar we are with something, the easier it is for us to naturally and instantaneously just default to and abide in that place. So that's why we have been doing this meditation practice in conjunction with our learning about the practices of the Bodhisattva, aspiring to become a better person for the sake of those around us, bringing ourselves to a place where we are able to care more and more unconditionally, more purely for those around us. It truly is a practice of selflessness. And the more we love others, the more powerful the practice of bodhicitta, the practice of the bodhisattva, the more powerful the practice of bodhicitta and any practice of self-improvement will be. If it's about others, if it's about wishing for others to be happy, which is the definition of love, if that's our motivation for doing what we do, then it's necessarily going to be powerful. I would submit there's no more powerful motivation that we can cultivate, and no greater fruit that will result. So back to our study of the moral discipline of restraint. And to refresh your memory, we're going through the 4 non-virtuous verbal actions to be abstained from, or hopefully at least refrained from. Let's see, we talked about lying and we talked about divisive speech. This morning, we're going to talk about the other 2, which are harsh words and idle chatter. Idle chatter. I always chuckle a little bit when I say those words or contemplate them. So harsh words kind of don't need to develop that notion a lot. I think we all know what harsh words are. What I would like to, basically harsh words are words that are unkind, that are hurtful to those around us. Please keep in mind that harsh words can be written as well as spoken verbally. Kind of social media outlets are oftentimes, I think, a means through which we can impart harsh words. Facebook, but more I've kind of come to see on blog sites. You know, blog sites are like forums where you can kind of anonymously say what's on your mind and kind of let it all hang out. And sometimes we can kind of cross over a line and maybe speak a little bit more harshly or write a little bit more harshly than we otherwise would. Again, look for areas in your life. Please look for areas that go beyond, kind of the typical kind of like overtly manifest examples of harsh words, because we know what they are. When we speak harsh words to our partner or loved ones or coworkers or whomever, we know what that is, and we're very familiar with it. Look for other, maybe more subtle variations of that, like maybe writing on a forum, like imparting words where anonymously we can, like I say, let it all hang out. The other thing I want to offer to you with regard to harsh words is to recognize, to remind yourselves, I'm sure this is something that we already know, if we get angry and abstain from speaking harsh words, that doesn't mean that our work is done, and it doesn't mean that there are not consequences. I can sort of bite my tongue, as it were, and not speak harshly to someone who is making me angry. There's still energy there that needs to be addressed. I mean, the next perfection that we're going to talk about is the perfection of patience. After we move beyond the perfection of moral discipline, our next perfection is the perfection of patience. And as we perfect our practice of patience, then there won't be an impulse to speak harsh words at all, right? It kind of addresses the problem at its root, at its core. Like, we're able to accept whatever arises, having abandoned the notion that things should be other than what they are. So there's not even the impulse to speak harsh words. But until we have moved down and had some experience on our path of patient acceptance, those harsh words may come to mind. We might not speak them, but there's a lot of energy there that needs to be, in my experience, needs to be released somehow. So I would just invite, whether that's, physical exercise, or, I don't know, pounding on a pillow or writing in your journal, whatever it might be, please kind of be cognizant that energy is there, and we can do our best not to repress that while not harming others with harsh words. Okay, last couple of minutes. Idle chatter. And this is kind of a delicate one, because in the sutras, idle chatter is just talked about, just kind of talking gibberish, just saying nonsensical things or meaningless things. That is, words that don't have a lot of meaning. Like, when I first started contemplating idle chatter, I thought, oh, talking about the weather, right? it's sort of like what we do, like when we don't, like so many situations. I know you know them all. Uncomfortable silence. Let's talk about the weather. We need to break the ice for a conversation. Let's talk about the weather. That might be idle chatter. It varies from situation to situation. But again, coming back to our intention for engaging in idle chatter, it can make it meaningful or it can be meaningless. If it is just to fill this void of uncomfortable silence that we're experiencing, like it's silent, this is an awkward moment, I feel pain, I don't like this, I'm going to talk about the weather. Maybe that is maybe that constitutes idle chatter. It could be too that maybe we sense that the person we're with is feeling uncomfortable, And maybe that's the basis for us talking about weather or whatever the thing is, to try to put the person that we're with at ease by talking about, inconsequential, not very substantive matters. There we are again, talking about intention. You guys, here's the real idle chatter that is to be abandoned. And that's the idle chatter within our head. That's the big one, right? This, what Eckhart Tolle calls the noise machine in the head, just going through, just like replaying situation, providing a narrative for situations that have happened in our lives in the past, maybe a long time ago, kind of a narrative about things that are that we want to do in the future. Just, it can be anything. If you check in with your mind, it could just be really nonsensical idle chatter. That's the true idle chatter that's to be abandoned. And the way we do that, through practices of mindfulness that we've talked about over the weeks and months and years for some of us, bringing our awareness back to the center of our heart chakra, even if we're not in proper meditation, becoming aware of sensations within the inner body, becoming aware of the breath, becoming aware of the weight of our feet moving across the floor as we migrate from one location to another. Mindfulness in lieu of the idle chatter of our thinking mind that never wants to shut up. That's the true idle chatter that's to be abandoned. So we move on Friday into the 3 non-virtuous actions of mind. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for being here. You guys have a great day and a great week.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Linda.